Hello and welcome back to The Broken Doll. Well, I come to you today with this wonderful doll here that I've been working on. I just took all the paint off. I made a video and I thought I was making a video, but I didn't even press record. I thought I did, but I didn't. So you didn't get to see the paint coming off the hand. But I just took all the paint off with my Dremel. This is called the Stilo Dremel. If you're interested in working on small things, such as things like this, dolls and whatnot, this is a useful tool. And I have two of them. I have a backup one just in case this one ever breaks. I found this a few years back. I was using actually a nail Dremel for nails, actual fingernails. And it was so low powered that you couldn't make any mistakes with it, and it shut off very quick if you press down too hard, because they're made for nails. Sometimes you need to press down a little bit harder when it comes to oil paint. And that's what this old doll's been painted with. And so anyways, the thing is that I found this for something like 30 bucks or something. It wasn't a whole lot of money. Brought it home just so excited. Showed it to my husband and he goes, "Oh my goodness, I didn't know they made them that small." He had a Dremel that he offered to me, but it was a big Dremel. And the thing is, it's so big and awkward when you're trying to get into tiny little spots in the finger. I've got this great big massive thing in my hands here, trying to get the speed properly, trying to get into a small area, wasn't working for me. This here has been a godsend, and it's great for small projects that you're working on, such as dolls. If you're into other modeling or whatever, this would be another great tool to have in there as well. But anyways, I did clean up the hands. But let's take a look at the doll that I'm working on to reintroduce her again and show her to people who are not caught up, or because it's taken me so long to get back to her, maybe you've forgotten her like I have. Well, I kind of forgot her, not completely. But anyways, we'll review her again here. Let's take a look at her. This here is a no-name doll. I keep coming back in my head that she's probably a horseman doll. I just feel it in my bones, almost, you can say. But I have no proof to that. A lot of these older dolls, too, and many early companies, before they even printed names on the back, use hand tags, wrist tags. So that could have been what because that's why I might be trending towards the horseman doll company. That could be who she was. I have no proof in the pudding. So just a gut feeling. One day I'm going to find her and I'm going to see who made her. But in the meantime, what is her story? Well, I bought her off of eBay for a very small amount of money. And she came with a couple other dolls. And I brought her in. She was cracked up here. I re-glued her piece, her composition piece back in again. So she has these little Frankenstein sew areas, it looks like, but they're just cracks in her. She has one coming up here. You can see she has a variety. We had a gouge in the back here. These two holes are very important to her, to the doll itself. Did I have to put them back in? No, I didn't, but I did, because that's how she was being held, being made. These two little prongs went into her, and as she dried or whatever it was, they held her head. They need to be there to show how she was being made at the time. They're very important. Again, no name on her at all, which is sad. But anyways, she has a lot of issues. She's missing an ear, which I will rebuild. I have to build her an ear. This eye is a little bit wider than this eye, so I'll be closing this up a little bit more. I've done some sanding on it. Now I build up the next layer on it. It's layer by layer until you get the desired look that you're looking for, more of that oval look that we're going for. And she has a lot of little problems, even right here. I will fill that up right there. She has a hole here too as well. So we have some issues still with her that needs to be looked after. She's an open top head, which means she will be wearing a pate on the top of her head, and which is a little piece of a cardboard. Do I have them still sitting here? I had my pate sitting here the other day, and I don't seem to see them right at my grab level. You know what I mean? They were here. But that doesn't mean anything. But it doesn't matter. I'm buying new pates too coming up. So anyways, I'm going to get all sizes. And anyways, back to the drawing board here. So anyways, she's a ball jointed doll. So let's put her together here. We'll do an arm first. So what I'm doing, let's talk about what I'm doing with the wooden pieces now. I'm stripping them down. Why am I stripping them down? Well, because she's a water damaged doll, it's damaged the paint. Every time I sand, there's cracks running this way on the paint. The paint wants to lift. And because of the damage that was done to her, every time I sand down, I'm getting to the point, I've sanded so much, I'm getting down to where I'm seeing the wood now. and there's a lot of, the wood underneath is coming through. I'm actually right down to the seam where you're seeing the seam. These are put together back to front and glued together. So the problem is with this is that this, when I get down where I'm seeing the seam, I'm taking the paint off now. That's what I'm coming down to. So a nice warm day coming up. Apparently what I've seen, that we're supposed to be getting snow. That's evil. So for May 1st. So anyhow, that I don't want to hear, but I did see that on my weather. I'm like, yeah, okay. But you know, it's not unheard of. I've had snow in May before. Not unheard of around here. But as it may be, let's put this doll together. So she has ball joints. So the ball will go here, okay, in her leg. And then she will have, where's her top part of her arm? This is the shoulder of her arm. And then a hand will go in here like this, up in there like that. And that's, whoops, oh, wrong hand. I got the wrong, this is her shoulder. Ooh, don't go anywhere, head. Stay there. Don't need to crack anymore. There's her arm right there. So she can move. She's ball jointed. All right, her leg. This is her upper thigh. And this is her, she has a ball that goes in here as well. So there's her ball, and there's that there. Oh, let's do the other leg. Even though it might be the wrong leg, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to put it together, okay, regardless. And so that would go to the side like that. And we put her body up there too. I don't know if you can see all this. We'll see. Where are you at? Can you see all this? Oh, you're getting where you see most of that. Well, you get the, oh, we're sliding out. There we go. So you see that there, and we have the rest of the leg right there. Okay, so you get the idea. She's quite a big doll. She's quite the size. You put the head on that doll, and you got a nice, 20-inch doll, pretty much. So I think that's what she is, about 20 inches. I never really measured her in my head measurements, okay? I think she's about 20 inches. So she's quite the size doll. Her body has a few little issues still that I'm working on. This is spackling that I put on top of her. And I could use Milliput, but Milliput is more, at one time, if you asked me back in my early days, I do make mistakes along the way. My mistakes are my learning points that I can teach to everybody else. I used to use a lot of Milliput, just cover doll bodies with Milliput, but I don't do that anymore. I now use spackling. Somebody way long ago got a hold of me and said, Tammy, have you ever heard of spackling? So I had to talk to my husband about it because, no, I have not heard of spackling. Didn't know what it was. He said, since in his younger days he worked in houses, restoring houses for a company, he said we use spackling a lot it's soft and easy to sand for corners and other little places that we use it for ceilings and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, on went the story. And as I understood what spackling was for, I went, let's give it a try. I love it. And when it hardens, you let it cure, let it sit on there. And you'll be seeing me doing it because I have to do it to a lot of parts still here. And it fills right in. Where Milliput is more for gapping holes. You're missing a piece. You can gap that in. That's what I like Milliput for now. I don't lean on Milliput like I used to. And not to that greater degree. I'm now with spackling. Where do you get spackling from? Right from your local hardware store. Even Walmart has spackling. I buy little containers of it. Just little dry decks. It goes on pink, dries white. And mine has probably turned white inside because I never get through a whole container of it. It's just how it goes. I just buy another one. But even if it's still white, I use it because it still works. It's just not pink anymore, that's all. And you're just not going to get the fancy pink color turning white, So I guess maybe in a home, maybe they wouldn't want to use it. But for a doll, it still works. I still use them. So just going to tell you that right there. All right, so that's the gist of this doll here. So we have a lot of wonderful things coming up for her. But the only thing is next, I need to spackle her hands. Just give her in her fingers in here and around her palm. You can see her palm, it's got a crack in it. Just cracks here. We need to fill those in because the paint will go in there. We don't want the paint to show the damage. We want her to look beautiful. Her damage is going to be called history. Nobody else is going to know about it except what my video shows and what you know about it off my videos. But when she becomes ready for painting, we don't want those blemishes to show. We'll have some. We can't get them all. but we don't need to show the vast majority of them. Her hands should be gorgeous. They're going to be an accent point of her, where she's going to have her hands right out. We don't want to see cracks in her hand where the paint has fallen into. We want that as best as we can, very smooth. We want to see her fingernails. I noticed when I was taking paint off her fingernails, in the bottom of the fingernail, there was a little red, which means they were accenting the red part in the finger, which I will also try to do as best as I can. There's a lot of wonderful little things about this doll that I think are very typical of the Bisque dolls that were coming out at the time, and they were trying composition as well. Horseman is a very old company. It does go back to this time period, to the turn of the century, to the 20th century, from the 1890s right into the 1900s. Very typical of dolls not to be always marked, like I said, more with a hand tag, wrist tag, maybe even marked on their clothing as well, a cloth tag saying who they were. That's very typical. So even Madame Alexandra, as you saw on my Civil War girls, Little Women, they had tags on their clothing. And that's very typical, even of the 50s, to see that still. So even today, high-end dolls might still have that. Like we do it with Barbie doll clothing, but it's on the inside. There's a tag on the inside to mark it that it is a Barbie piece of clothing. So tags are still being used in its own different way, but it's there. But this is magnificent how nice her hands had turned out. I am going to accent her fingernails a little bit more so we can see some clarity on them. And but right now, this is what I just want to get the paint off so I can see what damage is underneath everything. And it's mostly in the palm and up to the turn where the fingers start to bend in here. So that's what we're looking at. She has these wonderful little cracks. So she's cracking up. And you can see where the hook is in the hand. We're going to fill that up as well with some spackling. We'll go across the hands here. You know, she needs to soak her hands. You know, that commercial, Paul Mulvitt, was it? You know, so there you go. Whatever it was that she had her hands soaking in. But anyways, that's an old commercial. For the ladies and gents out there that remember that, there you go. Anyways, I was a kid back in those days when that was being on when that was being shown on television. But anyways, she claps and says, thank you for coming and enjoying her restoration. Be tuned for a lot more coming on her. I think she's fabulous and a very fabulous doll. And I want her beauty to come back out in her again. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for dropping in. For all my new subscribers, thank you for coming aboard. You're in for a treat to see this girl come alive. And you haven't missed too much. You really haven't. There's a lot more to go. We got, like I said, ears to fix, an ear to put on. We have holes to fill. We have paint to mix up. I'm going to show you how I mix up my paint, the colors that I prefer to, and how it works for me. It doesn't mean it works for you. Maybe you have a better way. That's fine, you know, but I will show you my way of doing it. And if it means it gets you a start in the direction that you can make it work better, show it to me, because I would love to learn it too. But you know, I love showing things and having it expanded by other people out there. You can show me what you do and as well. But anyways, thank you again for coming by and sitting for a few minutes with me and seeing this wonderful old doll. She's worth being seen. The eyes need to be on her because she's going to be gorgeous when she's done. And we need to see her from this end to her gorgeousness, her beauty. All right, thank you for dropping in, and we'll be talking to you again really soon. Bye-bye.